Good morning and welcome to Conversations with Sherry and Terry Ann. Got a little dance on there to get us moving this morning. I am Terry Ann Porter, life coach, TA. It is time to defeat those lies of negative self talk by changing your perspective, exploring the new possibilities, noticing the new pathways opening onto which you can choose to proceed in truth. And as always, with me, the effervescent and bubbly Sherry.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm so happy to be here today. I don't know. Is it raining or not raining, or I don't even know. You ever have days like that? You just don't even know. So anyway, good morning. I'm Sherry Berger. For those of you that don't know me, I own Here to There Consulting, and we educate business owners with those tools to balance life, business, and finances so that you can have the life and business that you love, making sure that you're living out your mission and purpose and vision. And I'm so excited because today we're going to talk about, we're almost halfway through the year. Can you believe it, Terry Ann?
That is hard to believe.
And is this episode 93?
93. Can you believe it? We have 100 coming up in just a few short weeks.
Wow is all I can say. So I love this time of year because we get to reset, we get to review, and we get to start focusing on what have we done the first half of the year and what do we want to do the second half of the year. Yes, I'm back. I was back last week. Somebody's saying, hello, Sherry, missed you. I was back last week. But yes, I'm back. And now, sometimes we have to reset. And when you want to talk about last week, I came back after a week of vacation, playing with my grandbaby. Oh my gosh, how much fun is that? But then you come back to reality. A, you have to leave your grandbaby. B, I worked, but not really, right? I just stayed on top of things and outsourced what I needed to while I was gone on a great 6 days playing with grandbaby. But then when you get back, you need to refocus. You need to regroup. And how do you refocus and regroup when you come back from vacation or at the end of a day or 6 months into the year, right? That's what we're going to talk about today. And I know I found it hard this time coming back from vacation to get refocused. Because as soon as I walked in the door, I lost one of my dear dogs while I was gone. So as soon as I walk in the door, things were different. And my little doggie didn't greet me. Now my other two did, but you're still missing the third one. So that threw me for a loop last week. And I don't know, I was exhausted. I had to do laundry. How many things do you have to do when you walk in the door when you just got back from vacation? But one of the important things you should always do, and I think I waited till Wednesday morning to do it when I got back on Tuesday, is to regroup and find out, what do you need to do this next week? Except for last time I checked, the next week always starts on a Monday. Have you ever had those vacation holidays? We have 4th of July coming up. Anyway, I was so confused last week what day it was all week. Terry Ann, is that hilarious? I come in Wednesday, I think it's Monday. Thursday, I thought was Tuesday. Friday, I thought was Wednesday. I don't even know what day it was. Anyway, have you ever had those moments and you got to refocus, right? And you got to regroup. So this last 6 months, did it fly by or did it go slow for you, Terry Ann?
Oh, I think it was kind of a roller coaster. There were times that it was just, wow, what happened? And other times there'd be months where I'm going, are we at the end of the month yet? And other times I'm going, oh my gosh, we're at the end of the month.
Yeah. Do you know we already hit the first day of summer? And here in Kansas City, we thought summer was how many weeks ago? Because it's been hot.
Yeah, it's been hot.
And we're almost going to go to July 4th. I'm like, it's like summer's flying. So today, what we want to talk to you about is some of those things that went well these last 6 months, and some of those things you still want to work on the next 6 months. And right now we're in summer, so guess what? A lot of us are going on vacation, and then we're coming back to reality. And so how do we do that too, right? In the thick of it. I was talking to you this morning, Terry Ann, and you have 2 really great tools that you use.
I try to keep in front of me 2 worksheets that I've created, and they're both on. I know you can't see what they are, but they're kind of a grid format. This one I love. The columns on it are things I want to stop doing, things I need to do less of, things I need to keep doing, do more of, and start doing. But they're kind of a grid. So I use that to try to keep me encouraged and moving forward, and reminding me of what I'm in the process of. But the biggest thing I use is I've created a grid, and I change it out each week. I've just made different categories in my life along the side, and then things across there that I need to do. What that does for me, because I love to multitask, but when when I multitask, I do a lot of things, but nothing gets done.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, I know how that happened. But what this does for me then is I can say, okay, if I work on this and just concentrate on 2 of these things right here, then I can check them off. And I've worked on the one thing. When the ping pong balls go up in my head, though, while I'm working on this one project, and the ping pong ball says, hey, wait a minute, what about? I write it down so it gets out of my way so that I can concentrate on what I'm working on. You need to do these to whatever works for your personality. That works for my personality.
And you know what works really well for me is an egg timer, or your phone has a timer. So when you're working on a project, you set the time and maybe don't look at your to-do list. But like you said, if you do get a ping pong moment, maybe you need to just write it down so that you can forget about it. You know when my ping pong moments come?
When's that?
Oh, like before I'm going to bed, or in the middle of the night, or when I'm in the shower, or after I just went for a walk. Oh, wait, would that be when I'm away from all the chaos and craziness? And so I used to keep a notebook next to my bed when I was first married. That didn't work very well. So now I keep it in the bathroom, because my husband doesn't like it if you turn on the light and you write down what you're thinking. Just thought I'd let you know. There's a great marriage tip. Don't do that in the middle. Husbands don't appreciate. Spouses don't. Oh, I'd be mad if he did that. But no, I did. I used to try to write in the dark or use a flashlight or whatever. He didn't like that. So now I sounds funny, but a notebook. Do you have a notebook in your bathroom? It's a great idea, because when you get out of the shower and you're drying off, you can write down some of those great ideas. When you're in the middle of the night and you don't want to wake that spouse, you can go in there and write down some of those things. Because
I send myself an email.
Oh, from your phone?
I grab my phone and I send myself an email.
Yeah, see, I started doing this before we had phones and all this
before then,
technology.
Yes.
But
I used to call my office phone.
You do that. Send yourself an email, or because you'll be watching a movie or hanging out with friends and you're trying to concentrate, and then something will come on. That probably works even better, is to use or a notepad in your phone, right? There's notepads you can write.
Right. Those always work.
But more importantly, let's stay focused in the moment. If you're supposed to be sleeping, let's sleep. If you're supposed to be hanging out watching a movie or hanging out with friends, let's do that. But if you do have to take that 2 seconds, don't be getting into a hole, and just brain dump for a minute so that you can get back focused. But the same thing with your job. I always like to ask my clients this, Terry Ann.
What's it?
If you were working the way you work Monday through Friday, like with what you get accomplished on Monday, you have all these things to do, but then distractions happen, right? Based on what you got done on Monday, would you want to pay you? Or would you want to pay yourself to be over here playing on social media or over here focus? You know what I mean? So sometimes when you don't stay focused, then you're not being a good employee. And then you're like, but I'm self-employed. Okay. So you're screwing the business out of money. and it happens to be your business. So I always like to ask people, would you hire you if you acted the way you acted on Monday with your performance, right? Did you ever, you probably had to do this. I know I had to do it. We used phones to do it, by the way, just so I can make myself sound old. Because, Terry Ann, I'm so old.
Yeah, I got you beat, girl.
Well, we used to have to log our time, right? And we had to call it in on a phone and log our time. Do you remember? Or we'd have to write it down. It depended on which company you worked for. But we had to log what our time was on all of our projects. So how much time are you spending on those projects? And I liked how I have actually at the very starting of my to-do list says, don't get overwhelmed. So that you don't get overwhelmed, here are all your places, all the things in your life that you need to get done, right? So I have all these things that I need to do for June. And so up at the top, I literally wrote, which is too funny, to not get overwhelmed. So we talk about some of the things I'm doing with my book right now, my mastermind I'm putting together, some of my marketing, my business. Then we talk about, home life and things that are stressing you out at home. Like maybe you need to clean up your office. That's actually on my list. Just thought I'd let you know. Or, fix up a room. Maybe you need to get that room done because I got my son coming soon and I got junk up in the room that should be for guests. So what are those things? And then I break them down to who do I need to call? Like I need to call and set up my eye appointment and all that kind of stuff. And then at the bottom it is, what are you trying to accomplish? Right? So when we go back and we look at networking groups or nonprofits, Terry Ann and I belong in Toastmasters. And I run a writers group on, last night we met. If you guys are interested, let me know. But I run a writers group on Zoom. And I know you're doing a Bible study group right now, right? On Zoom, Terry Ann.
We're doing a book study, yeah.
Book study. So doing a book study. And so all these great things that we do, but are they part of the purpose of what we're trying to live out in our life, in our business? So I always try to make sure I have that written with my to-do list. What is your mission? What is your purpose? So, and then a lot of in my book, I talk about 6 areas of your life. So I like to break it down that way too. But you still have to have your to-do list. How many things do you put in on a day on your to-do list, Terry Ann?
Oh, quite a few. It really depends on the day.
But
there are days I ignore it.
Sometimes we put 15 things or 10 things on our to-do list.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on how hard they are. Are you really going to accomplish them? Where if you focus on your 3 or 4, you can get them done. And do you ever feel bad if you put 15 on your to-do list, Terry Ann, and then you have to put it on the next day because you didn't get it done?
I used to. I don't anymore.
That's why I say, even if we have 10 or 15, what are your top 3 things? Work on them. And you know what I love to do at the end of the day? Refocus what I got done, what I didn't get done, and then put it on my next list. And then in the morning when I walk into my office, I reevaluate where I'm at. But have you ever put the got done list together?
Oh, yes, very often.
Yeah. So all the things that you did for that day, you should write it down.
I do. I put it in my calendar
Yay,
now.
Sherry, good job, right? Versus why do we beat ourselves up because we didn't do versus what we did do for that day?
Now, how can we take that towards today's topic to making it a year to date? What have you year to date accomplished? And what are you what's still on your plate as we move forward for the second half of the year?
Yeah, and we're going to move forward to the second half of the year, but we're going in the third quarter. So let's talk about all those things you want to do for your second half of the year, but then let's break them into quarters. And then
that's next week. Wait a minute, hold it. Wait, back off. That's next week, girl.
I think we should brain dump everything that we've accomplished this year and what we still want to accomplish. And where were your New Year's resolutions? Right? Some of them might not even apply for the next 6 months. Did you know that? Sometimes after 6 months, did you really want to do that? Or is it just not a priority now? And that's okay. This is when you need to show yourself a lot of grace. And I always love to ask people this too. You know, our self-talk and what we can say to ourselves. If I talk to a friend like that, would my friend stay my friend? Right? Would you ever talk to your friend that way? I think people would talk to their spouse that way. And sometimes when you're talking to your spouse, I don't ask you, but I try to ask myself, would I talk to my friend that way? Why am I talking to my spouse that way? Just because they're the closest person to me? But even worse than your spouse, you talk horrid to yourself. So when you're doing this and you're evaluating what you've done and what you haven't accomplished, remember to show yourself grace and talk to yourself the way you would to a friend.
When you're looking back at your list and wondering and possibly berating yourself like that for things that you didn't get done or that just wasn't working right, I love this phrase: butterflies don't look back on the caterpillars in shame. Don't look at your past in shame. You lived, you learned, you grew. It's a vital part of who you are today. So take what you've been going through, what you've been struggling, what you've been trying to accomplish. Take all that and use it to move forward. So what is on that list of things that you've done? Good or bad, you've learned from it either way. And how are you moving forward with it?
And everybody always likes to say, oh my gosh, it's halfway through the year. We've lost half the year. How about we turn that around too and say, oh my goodness, we have 6 more months of the year. What are we going to accomplish? And I guess we're going to talk more about that next week. So I can't get all excited like I do, because I
stay back your excitement just a little bit. Just draw it in a little bit.
I love helping people set goals. And I love it when people reach their goals, and not just in their business. I'm a business coach. I work with a lot of small to mid-sized businesses, but I love it when they do it in their personal life. And then they find out that they're getting where they want to be over time. And if you look at it right, you're going to see you're getting there. But more importantly, what did you just say? What did you learn this last 6 months? Because if there's things that you're doing that aren't getting you there, that's great. And you're like, what are you talking about? That means you have more time now. When you realize that and you reevaluate, this is when I have people do their halfway quarterly. Well, we do quarterly reviews, but also your 6-month reviews. And I love sitting down with people and helping them with their 6-month reviews.
Tell me, can you give me, because I know, like mine, your to-do list is still filled with a lot of things that you want to get done this year. Let's celebrate for a moment. What are some things that you have done these past 6 months?
So yeah, we would love to hear from you guys of things that you've done this last 6 months and things that you still want to accomplish.
I like that. So someone says, I still have 6 more months. Yes, we still have 6 more months. The year is not over. The year's not over. There's still so much more that you can do with what's there. How many of your first of the year goals, Sherry, have you accomplished or moved forward on?
I don't know. I need to go back and reevaluate and look at what I've accomplished, what I haven't, and I was hoping to get that done. But you know what I've really accomplished? I think my New Year's resolution is to be more adaptable. And I've really accomplished a lot with adaptability, because right now I would freak out and go, oh my gosh, I need to go back and evaluate all my 6 months goals. But I know being adaptable has been my big one. And realizing that, you know what? Sometimes the way I want something to happen isn't going to happen the way I think it should happen. All right. So you're like, what are you even talking about? I am more talking about, I have young adult children right now, and they don't do life the way I think they should, Terry Ann. And they throw things at me because they live on their own. And they're in their very early 20s. You know, they're in their early 20s. They're figuring out life. And when that frustrates me, because it does, I look at it and I go, wait a minute, how many times do I do that to God that I need to be more where I'm trying to go? So I feel like this year I've learned a lot with adaptability, learned with, what is it called? I knew we were going to talk about that today. And I just got back from my trip a week ago and I lost my dog. And by the way, they sent me something yesterday regarding my dog. And I have a daughter that literally just got engaged and we're planning a wedding in I think it's, 4 months? I don't even know. But anyway, my point is a lot of stuff got thrown at me when I first got home. And then I started saying I can stay focused and I can move where I need to go. So I think right now, my biggest accomplishment has been staying focused on what I have to get done this last week. But I would like to say, I went back and I've reviewed and done my annual 6-month review, but I have not, even though I sit down with people all day long and have them. And thank you for saying sorry for your loss. I didn't expect it to be, I don't know, I guess it's hard. And I rescued the dog 3.5 years ago, knowing that I probably wouldn't get to keep her very long. But it was a hard loss, and it is hard. And there's a lot of things that just, I don't know, get thrown on you. And so that's why I'm saying show yourself some grace. But this is a great time to sit and go back and look at those years.
I like what this user said. I survived. The last 6 months, I survived. And sometimes, you know what? I use that term quite often. I survived. That's all that matters.
Now, well, that's what
I'm moving forward. I survived. I'm moving forward. She's learned that she's overbooked herself and what she needs to change. And that's what's happening. Stop, take a look at what you've done. What have you learned? What do you need to do?
And I love that, because that's the other thing is I have been reevaluating more than reevaluating what I've accomplished. I've been reevaluating what sandboxes I'm playing in, because you only have so much time, right? And when I mean that is what I was talking about earlier. Like, what nonprofits are you helping, working with? What are you networking? Where are you networking? All that kind of stuff. Who are you hanging with? Where are you finding your joy? What are your priorities? And are you doing your priorities? So I think I've more this year. What did I say? My word for the year is adaptability. I've tried to slow down, breathe more. I always like that big picture, right? And am I doing all this? Versus sometimes you need to stay in that little picture of what do I need to get done this week? What is your word for the year, Terry Ann?
My word for this year is steady.
See?
And the definition on it is sure of movement, keeping upright, constant in purpose. So I'm using that, and I've got it on my the background, the wallpaper of my computer, so that I'm always reminded, steady. Just go at it at this steady pace. Try reminding me not to get overwhelmed, overbooked. Not always works, but it is a good reminder, and it's always in my face.
And see, one of my hugest accomplishments this year was I did publish my book in February, and that was a big deal. And so a lot of what I'm doing, like I have a mastermind, it's around my book. I have book signings coming up. It's around my book. So a lot of that is, what is it called? Getting that awareness out and making a difference in doing. And I got a couple speaking engagements coming up that I'm having to fill out paperwork and get that in for them. And so those have been my focus. And some people love to ask me, so when are you writing your second book? And I'm like, I have, right? Whenever you write a book, don't you always end up with a second type book?
Not always.
But I'm like, yeah. And I'm going, I'm working on what I'm working on. But I love how somebody goes, well, when are you going to write your next book? Are you serious? Let's just stay where you're at right now. So as we were thinking, and I love your steady and adaptability. And adaptability has been like a huge thing for me, that you don't have to, you can have it all, but you don't got to do it all, right? You can have these goals, and that's great. But then you also have to make sure that you're doing? You know what I mean? What are your life goals? What are your business goals? And are they all working together? Good morning, Marinella. Great to see you. And we are talking about today, what have you accomplished, or what do you still have left to accomplish this next year?
And I see Linda's on. Linda, what are some things that you've accomplished? I know you've had a very busy 6 months. I've been watching your Facebook page. I've been stalking some people.
Oh, and Marinella said, I didn't accomplish much, but it's never too late. And I don't believe that you didn't accomplish much, right? I think you need to go back and look at your life and your business. I don't believe you didn't accomplish much. I know for a fact that, like, Marinella, she can't say she adopted, but she has a bunch of chicks and she's helped a daughter move, and she's had a lot going on. If you go back, you will be shocked what you accomplish.
Yeah. Make one of those got it done lists.
Exactly.
And you will be surprised. I tell you what, I'm a list maker. I love lists. And the thing is,
do they end up all over your desk like my list?
They end up all over my desk.
Because then I try to do them on the computer, but then I got to print it, and then I got.
But you know what? For me, typing it out doesn't have the same sense of. There's no satisfaction and accomplish. There is something about writing it out. It's kind of like journaling. There's something about writing that as opposed to typing it out that just really, to me, the emotions flow much better through the pen than through the keyboard.
But you could have a notebook of your to-do list versus just everywhere.
And the thing is, when I'm all done with it, what I love is going to the shredder and putting it through the shredder. I'm done. It has no more hold on me, and I can run it through the shredder. Burning the papers is the same thing. There's something about that brings it into, okay, this is done. I'm through. And it's just kind of like a final act. Burn it, shred it, tear it up. And I think Marinella might feel the same way I do. There's just that sense of it's done. It's over.
Oh, no, she's saying she wants to burn all the paperwork. She's just done.
Well, I would burn all of it too, yeah.
But I think you should accomplish it before you burn it. I'm just saying, even if you feel like that. But like that was back to where you could set the timer and work on so much of your paperwork or so much to get done.
Hey, have you ever heard of a focus group?
Yes.
I've got one of the organizations that I'm in. She's going to try to start doing a monthly focus group. And if all of you have never tried that, what that is it's a group of people get together and you are working on whatever project you want to work on. So, see, one problem with my sitting here in the office is it's easy for me to get distracted by all this other stuff that I've hidden away from the camera, my big pile of stuff. But if I meet with a group of people and during this time I am committed. No.
We need to see.
See, it's anyway.
Oh, you really did it! Wow.
And the rest of the room, I'm still trying to organize from the.
But a focus group or accountability group or a coach,
yes,
those are all great ways to make sure that you're moving from here to there, making sure that you're accomplishing what you want, and just having that accountability of having to go back and tell somebody. And yeah, Marinelle said exactly, too many distractions. LOL. That's true.
That's where I just pick up my laptop and go to the coffee shop because all I can work on is this one thing that I brought.
But you don't meet fun people at the coffee shop?
Do what?
You never meet a bunch of fun people at the coffee shop?
No, I sit off by myself and it is amazing what I get done. I get so much accomplished. I don't talk to anybody when I'm at the coffee shop.
Library rooms where you can actually just stick yourself in there because I'm shocked, Terry Ann. I love people. And my husband says I collect them. And I can go to the coffee shop and meet all kinds of people. Or I run into people I know. I thought coffee shops were for socializing. I don't know. But
no, they're for the internet.
It's a matter of getting somewhere where you're away from what distracts you, right? If that means putting yourself in a library room, now libraries might start opening. I loved doing that back when I could.
Yes. This also includes petting the kitty instead of going through the bills.
Oh, I know, but
that is a distraction.
Ask Marinella how many cats she has. and how
Oh,
sweet
yes.
they all are. So she
That
has
could be
how
a
many
distraction.
distractions? Yes, she doesn't have kids. She has cats. Haha.
Okay, now, so next week, we're going to let Sherry go ahead, and I'm going to let her loose next week in planning for the third quarter. I know I reined her in today. Sorry about that.
I'm so excited. Please come back. We could set up goals. We could talk about third quarter. Oh my gosh. I will try to make sure I've drank my 5 cup of coffees before I start. Oh, wait, no.
Boy, Linda's been busy, and her words are learn, finish, and move forward. Oh, great words.
Oh, I love it. Learn, finish, and move forward. I love that.
So next week, we tried to see, we've done a lot this past 6 months, but we still got 6 months of the year to go. What are we going to do? And I'm going to let Sherry I'm going to let her loose next week, guys. So come back and
I'll
join
drink my 5
the
cup
conversation.
Of coffee. I got it. No, please come back next week. It'll be exciting. And yeah, do go write down what you've done and what you still want to accomplish this next week. And I think Terry Ann's going to share some of her to-do list, right?
I'll share out my to-do list.
Yeah, because I was asking if she's doing that. And you took one of the sayings off my Facebook. What was the other saying you were going to use today?
Oh, the other one was, while you're doing all this, you'd be surprised at who's watching you. And they're inspired by how far you come today. Don't quit.
Just like we said, you've seen Linda, and that was inspiring you. Was it not, Terry Ann?
Yes.
People are watching you. It's surprising. And so you're being a good example to your kids, to the community, to your fellow business owners. All right, guys, go make it a great day. And I will see you next week. I'm so excited. Bye, guys.